It is Rick Kamla. It is Steve Alexander, Hall of Famer. We are going to be talking a lot about Hall of Famers on this episode. We're doing something very creative today. And I don't know, like put this out on your timelines. I think this is a cool conversation. Cam and Doc are ranking the top fantasy basketball players of all time. This is Wilt. This is Wemby. This is Luka. This is LeBron. This is Jerry West. This is everybody. Okay. Everybody. And you say, wow, what an undertaking. How do you gauge like a Wemby versus a Wilt? Tough question. We will have answers. Okay. So we're very excited about this. And I want to, again, stress to people, Doc, this is not a ranking based in reality. Okay. I have my top 10 all time. I'll give it to you right now. It goes like this: Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Steph, Shaq, Wilt, Russell. That's my top 10. Okay. And I know it off the top of my head because I do this stuff. That's not what we're doing here. Okay. That's championships, all-stars, MVPs. That's all that stuff. This is stats. Okay. So Doc, I'm fired up for this, man. And I will say this was a challenging, mind-bending. It took me a minute to do this kind of thing. How about you?
Yeah. It took me a minute to do this thing. And then I did it again. And then I was like, man, if I don't stop messing with this list, I will change it 1,000 times. And I don't have time to do that. So I just kind of got my 25 guys out there in somewhat of an order that seemed good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I spent hours and hours doing a deep dive into stats because I didn't. But it's with historically, I mean, I've been playing this game for 35, 40 years. So I'm pretty much outside of the really old guys. I've been there for most of it. So I didn't really mess with the really old school guys like Bill Russell and Bob Cousy and Jerry West. Like I didn't mess with them. There's one super old school player that is on my list, and he's very high. But everybody else is more from like my era that I got to watch play.
Understood, man. I did include, and as we move on here, I'll explain. It's very, very difficult how to rank Baylor, West, Chamberlain, Oscar, all these guys because there was no three ball and they did not track blocks and steals. Buzzkill. So it's hard, but we press on. Another guy, Bob Pettit. I'm very excited when we get to Jerry West, Doc, because I'm very excited. I'm just going to put that out there when we get to Jerry West at some point here. So you go first, dude. Who is number one on your list? I mean, I don't know. We both did a top 25. I don't know. That might be a 3.5-hour show. We may not get to all 25, but we'll get to as far as we can. Hit me with number one, Doc.
Well, I never had this guy on my team because I wasn't around playing fantasy when he was playing. But to me, the numbers that are most eye-popping and ridiculous of all time are Wilt Chamberlain's. So I'm thinking Wilt Chamberlain is probably the greatest fantasy player of all time if fantasy existed when he played. Like just the rebounds and the points alone are just. It's just stupid. And then he's had tons of assists as well. They didn't even count blocks back then.
Would have had a ton of blocks. Wilt is number one for me as well. Wilt Chamberlain permanently has a spot in my overall top 10, like I just said. He's only got 2 championships. I don't care. He's the greatest stat player of all time. I got to have the greatest winner of all time, Bill Russell, in my top 10 as well. Those guys, they have a spot. Shaq and Curry are the pivot guys in my top 10 right now. I had to boot Bird out to get Curry in after Curry won his 4th ring. Bird has 3, by the way. Wilt Chamberlain, I'll go through some of these accomplishments. 100-point game, 50.4 PPG in a season, averaged 23 rebounds per game for his career, okay? Record for most points by a rookie with 58. 271 40-plus point games. all-time leader in 50-point games or more with 118 of them. 31 triple doubles, Doc, in the 66-67 season alone. He had 31 triple doubles in 1 year, dude. And that was back in 66-67. 1,045 straight games without fouling out. My man had 55 boards in a game one night, and he averaged 48.5 minutes per game in 61-62. It's a 48-minute game, and it was a 48-minute game back then. So that's nutty insanity stuff. Who's number 2 on your list behind Wilt? I think it's pretty cool that we both put Wilt up on a pedestal, bro. Wilt, you up there, bro. We love you down here, man.
Number 2 is the only guy that has ever been banned from being allowed to be drafted in one of my fantasy leagues, and that is Michael Jordan. Jordan was so much better than everyone else for a certain amount of time during his career that if you had him on your fantasy team, it was almost impossible to lose. And like we're talking about the big 4 to draft coming up this season. Jordan was here, and those next 3 were like down there, and it wasn't fair. So he actually was being banned from some of my leagues. I think some other people's leagues. Newspapers were running fantasy contests, and you couldn't even pick from Michael Jordan because nobody else matched up his numbers.
Where do I have? I do not have Jordan number 2. Dun, dun, dun. I like where your head's at, though, Doc. By the way, you can't, if people may try to start doing that with Wemby, you can't take a guy out of the league. I freaking hate that. I heard they used to do that in fantasy hockey leagues for Wayne Gretzky because there was such a separation between him and the next guy. Oh, it's unfair if you get Gretzky. Well, then it is what it is. We may get to that point with Wemby. Pardon me. LeBron James is number 2 for me. He's the GOAT of longevity and counting stats. To this point, he's 40 whatever. He's 40 whatever, Doc. Right now, his career averages are 27, 7, and 7. What is he? He's played 21 years, right? 27, 7, and 7. No slippage, no dip, no nothing, okay? For his career. And I will say this, career stat line was a big deal for me here, okay? I had to pick something, some kind of anchor, some kind of like compass, okay? And so it's a whole lot of stuff, like I said, but your career stat line matters for me. And so some of the older guys where you didn't hit 3 balls, it's going to hurt you, okay? Because I'm looking at it now. We're about to draft on Wednesday. We're ranking this right now in July of 2025, okay? 3 balls are a thing, hello? So I've got LeBron James at 22. For his career, 0.7 blocks, 1.5 steals, 1.6 threes. I thought that number would be 2. It's not. It's 1.6. He's the all-time leader in points and counting. Okay, check this out. This is really nutty. LeBron James is 1st in points, 4th in assists, 3rd in rebounds, 6th in steals. What? He's top 6 in 4 major categories. 4th in dimes, 3rd in boards, which blew my mind. Wait a minute, he can't be 3rd in boards. AI, you're screwing me over here. He's not 3rd in boards. Boards is Wilt, Russell, and Kareem. Andre, could you please help me out with LeBron's ranking in total rebounds for his career? I'm like 3rd. That ain't right. So I'm going to stop reading that and just give you my opinion. I think LeBron James is the 2nd best fantasy basketball player of all time. Boy, I just had an AI snafu, bro. AI's been pretty reliable up to that point right there, man. 3rd, dude, I should have known. 3rd in rebounds for LeBron. That's not right. That's not right. I would say LeBron is in the top 20 for rebounds. 26. 20. Andre said NBA and ABA. I don't like that. I don't use that one. I go
25 in the NBA.
25 in the NBA. Okay. All right. So there you go. My bad on that. But LeBron James, number 2 for me. Who is number 3 for you, Dr. A, and our top fantasy basketball players of all time? All right, I'll give you my number 3. Or is he going to get a prop? I feel a prop here. Whoa, dude, you are dreaming it up at number 3. Wow.
Yep, this is my Akeem Olajuwon Atonic Dream. Great shoe. I had a pair of these. I wore it back in the day. He signed it. It doesn't have the H on it because that's not how he rocked back then. I don't think it was ever game worn. I think it was a promotional thing that my boss at the shoe store got for me. But pretty cool thing to have nonetheless. I've got Akeem at number 3. He was the new era fantasy. Like, he was the first real fantasy freak I remember, because he had that quadruple double where he had 10 blocks, 10 steals, like 20 rebounds and 25 points or whatever. And he was a bad dude, man. Akeem was a bad man. And the fact he could get all those blocks and steals, I think that's when NBA players were like, wow, I can make a living from getting blocks and steals. Like, that's a big part of the game. I'm not sure it was like that before Akeem came along and did all that.
You've hit a soft spot for me. I don't have Hakeem this high, so I'll wait and kind of go into some of my Hakeem stuff in a little bit. Just to piggyback, I'm just going to give you one stat. I want to look at wow, he was 7th in MVP voting this year. 1989-90. This is year 6 for Hakeem. 24, 14, and 3. 4.6 blocks and 2.1 steals. Dude, he was we know, oh my God, he went 2+ steals and 2+ blocks 6 times? 5 times. 5 times. Dude, 2 and 2. Andre can figure this out right now. I know David Robinson had a 2 and 2. I know Gerald Wallace in the 2000s had a 2 and 2. Hakeem had, 5 or 6 2 and 2s. These are some of the rarest seasons of all time when you go 2+ steals and 2+ blocks, dude. And Hakeem did it 5 times. All right, so I'll give you more Hakeem goodies here in a little bit. Jordan is 3rd for me, Doc. He is behind LeBron. Why? Counting numbers. Michael Jordan retired for 4 years, Doc. That hurts his case. Okay. Also super low in 3 balls, 0.5 per game. So it's not a full stat line. It's 30, 6, and 5, which is amazing. He's got the highest scoring average in NBA history at 30.1, 6 and 5, 0.8 blocks. Yep. 2.3 steals. Yep. On board so far, half a 3 per game. And I know it's the era. Nothing against Mike. This is fantasy. Okay. We need 3s out here. All right. So, I mean, I didn't drop him to 23rd. I dropped him to 3rd. Okay. But these are tough decisions, man. He has, unless AI is screwing me over here, he's 5th in points, 3rd in steals, 47th in assists, 132nd in rebounds, and 10 scoring titles, by the way, which is not a fantasy stat, but scoring is a fantasy stat. And so Michael Jordan is number 3 for me. Who is number 4 on your list? Dr. A?
I got LeBron. I couldn't put him in front of Jordan just because I didn't want to do it. Akeem to me is when I think of a well-rounded fantasy basketball player, I always like Akeem Olajuwon is the thing that comes to my mind. And LeBron James is a lot like Akeem. He's just in a newer generation. You know, he learned a lot from Akeem Olajuwon, I think. But LeBron, I mean, he's played more seasons than a lot of people. He's hit, he was in a 3-ball era, so his 3 numbers look much better than Jordan's. But I'm not going to hold the guy's era against him. I mean, Steph Curry shot more 3-pointers last year than Larry Bird probably shot in his whole career. That's not fair to Larry Bird. But I'm going with LeBron James. I had when we did a top 50 players of all time for Beckett magazine, I was one of the 4 people ranking those. And there were 6 of us ranking people. I was the only one that had LeBron in the top 10, 15 years ago. And it was based on, you could see where his trajectory path was. He wasn't maybe one of the 10 greatest players right at that moment, but I think you're going to see Rick and I's list also project for the future. And I don't even know why I'm talking about that with LeBron. There's other guys that you'll see that's the case with. Anyway, I felt pretty good about having LeBron at number 4 fantasy all time.
Number 4 for me, Doc, is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I got to take you into the lab for this one because, right, it's no threes, and I get that, okay? And what I said about career line, okay, is very important to me. If you said, like, I don't know, it's such a bundle of categories and stuff. But you look at Kareem, okay, for his career: 24, 11, and 3, 2.6 blocks, 0.9 steals. I mean, excellent overall stat line. And you had that includes the dippage late in his career. Okay, I have included that and baked this into all of this, Doc. The slippage towards the end of your career hurts Kevin Garnett. That's reflected in my rankings. It hurts Hakeem Olajuwon. That's reflected in my rankings. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was better for longer than those guys. That's why I have Kareem at number 4. And I mean, obviously, he retired as the leading scorer in the league. The statistics are crazy. He's 3rd all time in rebounds. Let me see here. I got this. He's 3rd all time in blocks. It's Hakeem, Dikembe, and then Kareem. It's Wilt, and then Russell, and then Kareem for rebounds. And in points, I believe he's still number 2, right? LeBron passed him, and so he's 2. Isn't Kobe 3? I kind of forget the scoring chart right now, but you get the point. KAJ, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is number 4 for me, Doc. Who is number 5 for you?
By the way, the fact that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in the movie Airplane and had such a funny, awesome role in that movie was one of the highlights of my childhood. Like, I love that so much. Even though I wasn't a big Kareem guy, Kareem is one of the only guys that I ever met. And I met every single player in the NBA from 1983 to 1986. And Kareem was the only guy that I never heard speak. He never acknowledged me. He never looked at me. He never answered me. He just had a stoic look on his face, and he walked eyes dead ahead and did not care who wanted anything. He was not having it, which respect. I'm not mad at him, but he was tough, dude.
He's in New York, man. He's in New York. They're tough in New York.
If you have Kareem's autograph or something of Kareem's, you've done something, because I could never get him to even make eye contact. While he's getting that, my number 5 player of all time is Nikola Jokic. And I think that's interesting. What you got there? Oh, yeah. Nice.
So this was On the Shoulders of Giants, famous book by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. Can you see the autograph right there as I bring it forward?
Yes, sir.
So this was an NBA TV thing. He was there promoting, and it's not like, hey, I like Rick Kamla, I'm going to give him an autograph. Like, we all got an autograph from Kareem. I didn't know how big of a deal that was, though. That seems like a pretty decent little item right there, huh?
I would assume there's not a lot of Kareem autographs out there. At least when he was in the G-pop, the general population, he was not signing autographs. Now, he may be signing them for money. He may be signing books. Like, I don't know. But anyway, Rick, I went with Jokic at number 5. And I think if you put up Jokic's numbers against Kareem's and you take your argument about 3 balls, you're going to be like, maybe I should have Jokic at number 4 or 5 or whatever it was. But anyway, Jokic, the numbers have just been sick for forever. The blocks are there, the steals are there, the threes are there. Like, there's just nothing he can't do. And he's been doing it long enough now that I think he's one of the greatest fantasy players of all time. So I got him at number 5.
Oh, he's one of the greatest fantasy players of all time. Again, career stat line, big for me, right? Jokic is at 22, 11, and 7. So down 2 points from Kareem, same rebounds. He's up 4 assists. This is the staying power with Kareem. 2.6 blocks per game for his career. Think about that.
Because he was bigger than everybody else.
Except it doesn't. Like, yeah, I mean, that's true, but to me, that doesn't matter. Like, just put the numbers out there. What's in black and white? Like, give Jokic 5 more years and I redo this. Like, maybe I'm changing this. But right now, dude, again, Jokic is like what he did last year. What was it? 30 with 12 and 10 or something like that. He hasn't done that every year. He's 22, 11, and 7 for his career. So career line was big for me in doing this because it takes into account your whole career. It takes into account when you weren't very good on the way up. Boom, you're in your prime. And then, okay, now you're old and hanging on and just collecting checks. That hurts your overall average and your overall career line. And that matters to me. It all matters to me. But I love Jokic at number 5, dude. I'm not mad at you. I have Jokic coming up very, very shortly. Number 5, I've got Victor Wembanyama. Doc, I got Wemby at 5. And I got to give it to the gods, the GOATs. Wilt, LeBron, Jordan, Kareem. I got to give it to those guys. There's a reason that they're Mount Rushmore guys or top 10 guys, right? The stats are insane. Wemby's played, what is it, Doc, 3 years? 3 truncated years. And so I'm not even going to go into stats here. We know, you do know by now, right? Victor Wembanyama is the best fantasy player of all time. His stat line is gross, okay? It's better than any of these guys when you include the block, steals, and threes. But he's played, dude, how many games has Wemby played? Has Wemby played 150 games in the NBA? I don't know that number right now. But I can't think about this. You've got Wilt, LeBron, Jordan, Kareem. Okay. Like they're gods. They're not all-time greats. They're gods. Okay. I can't bump Wemby or Jokic or any of these other guys over the gods. I can't. But so number 5 is where for me, it like started to get interesting and now I'm swimming in the ocean, right? Wemby. I'd rather have him than West. I'd rather have him than Shaq. I'd rather have him than Kobe. Wemby. Okay. And so he's number 5 for me. The best fantasy gold player of all time. The best fantasy stat line of all time. Let's see what else. But I can't put him above Jordan and these guys because he's just played so little ball. But it's interesting, Doc, that at number 5, you went God, go, boom, number 5. Now it's getting feisty with Jokic. And same thing with me at 5. I got feisty and went with Wemby. Who is number 6 for you? Wemby's played 117 games, bro. He's played $117, and I got him above all these GOATs, bro. And I feel good about it. But I can't put him above Wilt, LeBron, Jordan, or Kareem. Just can't. Who's number 6 for you?
I'm going with Larry Joe Bird. He's probably much lower on your list. Career average was 24 points, 10 boards, 6 assists, 50% from the floor, 38% from 3-point land, and he just didn't shoot enough threes. Like Bird was shooting 1 to 2 threes a game. Curry shoots 1 to 2 threes per possession. No, not really, but it seems like it. So the threes aren't there, the steals and blocks. I mean, he's unathletic white guy. But man, he played hard and he put up incredible numbers. He was the best player on the court when he was out there. I'm going Larry Bird. I wasn't playing fantasy when Bird was still playing. So I think I started like right as he was retiring. So I just missed out. Did you play any fantasy leagues where Bird was active?
Yeah, 89, when I invented this thing at Sigma Nu Fraternity, yeah, Bird was still playing, although, no, he was still viable in 89. But I was a Magic guy. I was a Showtime Laker guy. Dude literally would have never drafted Larry Bird back then because I was a youngin' and like fanboy mattered right back then. I would not have taken Bird or any of those guys. I was trying to get
I hated Larry Bird. I did not like Larry Bird. I was a Dominique I was a Dominique guy, and Bird was always getting headlines over Dominique, and same with Jordan. Like I liked Jordan and Dominique more than I liked Larry Bird. I was never a Bird fan. I couldn't stand Boston, couldn't stand the Celtics, and so I don't think he would have been on any of my teams. But man, you just look at his history, and it's incredible.
I got a funny Bird stat for you, and I'll save the rest for when he comes up in my rankings here. Larry Bird averaged more blocks per game than threes per game. Larry Bird averaged more blocks per game than threes per game. Probably about, I mean, look, dude, this is Barry and West and Elgin, and this is all the guys, right? And this is part of my process, but Bird is on there. Point of all the stats on here, then some of them were eye-opening. Most of them are very, standard, and I knew. But I did not know that Larry Bird averaged more blocks per game than threes per game, 0.8 to 0.7. I thought that was pretty crazy. All right, let's move on. Incredible, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to tweet that one out and get like 5 likes on it. You know how Twitter works. Luka Doncic. Like, to me, like Kevin O'Connor, who I like, right? He'll just put out a tweet. I'm going to cuss really quick here, but it's like he'll just put out a tweet that says, oh, shit, right? Something happened in a game. He'll have 25,000 likes, right? And I put out something super dope, and I get like 37 likes. Sometimes I get into the hundreds. It's like Twitter is vexing. Twitter is vexing, but I like it. We use it. Number 6 for me, Doc, is Luka. Number 6 for me is Luka. Okay, let me explain. A lot of you may be like, what? I want to get into PRA for a minute. I did a cool study on this, Doc. Like I said, career line is very big for me in this because it takes everything into account. It's a good read on who you were. It's a great read on who you were as a player. And you say, well, how can you include the last 5 years when he barely played? Because he played. Duh. I mean, I'd be working on this list until 2027 if I was parsing it like that. Give me a break. All right, Luka's career line, 28, 8, and 8. Better than LeBron, okay? Better than Jordan. It is 28, 8, and 8. 0.5 blocks. What is going on? Is somebody, what the hell is happening here? My doc is tripping out. Okay, 0.5 blocks, 1.2 steals, 3 threes per game. That's right now. That's what Luka's done. 3 threes per game, 28, 8, and 8, 1.2 steals, half a block. My God, what a line. Okay, so Luka, I did a PRA study, Doc. Will Chamberlain, I didn't come up with this number. I just knew he had the best PRA of all time. Let me quickly get Wilt's PRA off the top of my head. It's going to be 30 plus 23 is 53 plus another 4 is 57. Am I right? Let's double check this. Was it 4 assists? It was. Okay. He's at up. My God. Will Chamberlain's at a PRA of 57. Okay. 57. And you're saying, what does that mean? Let me give you context. Wilt's at 57. Bob Pettit, who will come up later on my list. Old-timey guy. Most of you are like, who the F is Bob Pettit? Was he a president at some point? No, he's a power forward. One of the best players of all time. Bob Pettit, to me, okay, and I went through this, has the second best PRA of all time at 45. Luka is next. Luka and Elgin Baylor have PRAs of 44. Wilt at 57, Pettit at 45. Luka's at 44. Elgin's at 44. Oscar's at 42. LeBron's at 41. Jordan's at 41. Jokic is at 40. Bird is at 40. Okay, those guys surfaced as the best PRA guys for me. Now, if Andre's like, what about this guy? And this guy was 41 or 42, he may find that guy, but I doubt it because I did vet this and I went through stuff and really tried to comb it through. Wilt at 57, Pettit at 45, Luka at 44, Elgin at 44, Oscar at 42, LeBron and Jordan at 41, Jokic and Bird at 40. Chew on that, Doc. That's why I have Luka at number 6. He's, as I look at that, what is he? He's tied for the 3rd best PRA in league history.
Wow. I did not see that one coming.
Stats, man. It's all stats. I didn't see that coming either. I'm like, I'm doing my Luka evaluation. I'm like 28, 8, and 8. My God, where does that rank all time? And then that led me to all this other stuff. And I'm like, hey, Wemby, you're welcome for me putting you over Luka and that other guy who I'll get to in just a second. Okay, so we're at number 7 here, Doc. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Steph Curry, which surprised me. And I didn't spend hours and hours breaking this all down. It sounds like you might have. I appreciate the work you put into your list. But Steph Curry, career averages are pretty freaking nice. 25 points, 5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.5 steals, 47% from the field, 42% from downtown, which is big. Plus he's hit, so many of them, 4 a game for his career from downtown. And then a 91% free throw shooter. Kind of like a perfect fantasy player. And he hadn't been as fun the last couple of years, but Curry's legit, man. He's there was a time when everybody wanted Curry on their team, every fantasy draft. Like you wanted Curry.
Bro, I traded Tyler Hero, Jaren Jackson Jr., and several picks to get Steph Curry in a 20-team dynasty league. Sam Hinkie's letter. I did this. This was during the pandemic. I remember they were playing games in the bubble and stuff when I was doing this trade. And I won the chip that year. A couple years later, won another chip. And so that trade, dude, it doesn't haunt me, but it's like I've gotten 2 chips out of it. And this is a money league, okay? So I feel like I've won the Curry trade, right? But Jackson Jr. and Tyler Hero are freaking badasses. And I'm telling you, Doc, I mortgaged at least 1 draft and I think took a big bite out of another draft. Dude, I had to give and give and give to get Steph Curry. But I got 2 chips and I still have Curry and I still have a very good team. My team died last year. I got a bunch of guys just died at the end of the year. So I didn't take it home last year, but I'll be back looking for the dynasty this year. All right. Doc has Curry at number 7. I have Jokic at number 7, Dr. A. You have Jokic at 5, and I've got him at 7. His career stat line, 22, 11, and 7. That does not tell the story of Jokic, the guy we're getting right now, but it does tell the story of Jokic because those are stats in black and white on basketballreference.com. The fantasy gold is pretty good. 22, 11, and 7, 0.7 blocks, 1.3 steals, 1.1 threes. And from a center, I'll take that. He has a 30-20-20 triple-double, a record for centers, 56 points in a game. He is at 164 triple-doubles, which is 3rd. He will be the king of triple-doubles one day. He's just not there now. And here's another thing to file away, Doc, as I merge my imagination with my basketball wisdom and stuff comes out. Nikola Jokic might rank in the top 10 for points, rebounds, and assists for his career. Okay, I'm just having fun with numbers here. He certainly doesn't right now. He's in the middle of his career. He might, rank in the top 10 for scoring, rebounding, and assists. And I did some research on this. Nobody in the history of the league right now ranks top 10 in points, rebounds, and assists. For a moment there, AI had us tripping that LeBron was that guy, but LeBron's not that guy. That guy doesn't exist, okay? There is nobody in the top 10 for points, rebounds, and assists all time. Jokic right now is at 75th in rebounds, 59th in assists, 124th in points. I did not do the math on when he'll get there, how he gets there. I'm just saying it's possible, okay? Jokic is number 7 for me. Who's number 8 for you, Doc?
I'm going with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was already on your list, so you broke down all the stats, but just the longevity. He played 13 seasons and did all that in that, or 13 just in the NBA and all with the Lakers. But before that, it was Milwaukee and the deal. 76. Never mind. What am I looking at? Yeah, 76 to 89. The career numbers are kind of silly for Kareem. 25 points, 8 boards, 3.5 assists, 2 blocks, 0.7 steals. No threes because big men didn't shoot threes back then, but just the longevity and the total number of points and everything else that Kareem did. He was rock solid. Like he was probably the most reliable fantasy pick in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s.
Good point, man. And nobody was monetizing those digits back then. Number 8 for me, Doc. I've got your guy, Hakeem Olajuwon. You had him at 3. I have him at 8. I had Kareem at 4. You have Kareem at 8. Just to give the people the idea. We already talked kind of a lot about Kareem and all that. But Hakeem, all right, career line, 22, 11, and 2. There were about 5 years there at the end for Hakeem Olajuwon that were not good. He was hanging on and getting paid, and the numbers sucked. It matters. It happened, okay? It doesn't tell you the story of peak Hakeem, but it tells you the career story. Now, even given that, Doc, this is going to wow you. Even given, I had Hakeem up here, and let me go back to him. Hakeem is still after all those years, and after the last, I'm not going to bang on him too hard. The last 3 years were pretty rough for Hakeem. It wasn't 5. 5 years out, he was at 16.4 and 10 and 3 with good goodies. Like the last 3 years, Houston, Toronto, he did not give the goodies, brought his numbers down a little bit. Even given that, Doc, he's at 3.1 blocks and 1.7 steals for his career, including all of it, 22, 11, and 2. And, you think about that body of work alone, to me, gets you 8. Okay. But when Doc had him ranked at 3, okay, I'm not mad at Doc because Doc is thinking about prime Hakeem. All right. When he was going 25, 13, 14 boards, right around 3 assists. Wasn't a huge assist guy, but decent. And then you're getting like monster blocks and monster steals. I mean, the year when he had 4.6 blocks and 2.1 steals, I can't with this guy. So he's number 8 for me, Doc, and one of my absolute favorites of all time. I love me some Hakeem Olajuwon. Who is number 9 for you, dude?
I don't know about this one, but it's what I have written down, so I'm just going with it. It's Kobe Bryant. I don't know that his fantasy stat line is mind-blowing enough to be that high on the list, but I don't really care. He's Kobe. 25 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, steal and half block, 84 from the line, 32 from 3, 45 from the floor, and 1.4 3-pointers per game, which it certainly feels higher than that, especially at the end of his career. He was hitting more threes than that, but the early part, when he made 6 starts and scored 7 points in 1996, that's a tough, that will weigh his stat line down a little bit. And year 2 wasn't that great either, but then year 3 he took off. But I love Kobe. I'm really sad that Kobe is not with us, and I always enjoyed when I could land him on a fantasy team.
I always found Kobe Bryant to be a little overrated fantasy-wise. I like the guys that pop up with the boards or pop up with the assists. The 25, 5, and 5 is very cool. I've got Kobe in here, but and I don't want to bang on Kobe. Just the stat set, I just favor other stat sets over Kobe's. It's not a diss to Kobe, it's just a preference. Next for me, Doc, let me write that down. You had Kobe at 9. I have David Robinson at number 9. David Robinson was very Hakeem Olajuwon-esque. He was a better passer. So I'll look at what year do I want to pull out? All right, I'll go to this year. It's his 3rd year. Remember, he was at the Naval Academy. 23 points, 12 boards, 3 assists, 4.5 blocks, 2.3 steals. Okay, so he did the 2+2. I mean, Hakeem did it 5 times. David only did it once. But David Robinson has a quad double on his resume. The career numbers are 21, 10, and 2, 3 blocks, 1.4 steals. I remember it, and this ranking includes that. It also includes just the nuttiness of David Robinson in his prime. And there were few fantasy players of all time that are cooking at a higher level than like 27, 11, and 3 with 3.2 blocks and 1.7 steals, which was his fat line in 1994, 1995. David Robinson, number 9 for your boy, Doc.
Everybody talks about Tim Duncan. Nobody ever talks about David Robinson. Oh, Tim Duncan, the greatest 4 of all time, which I don't really agree with. Nobody really talks about David Robinson enough. He was a bad dude, man. I got him at 17. For my number 10, I've got Victor Wembanyama. Is he there already? Probably not. Is he going to be there? Yes. Could he end up at number 1? Yes. You said everything. I mean, he's got the most freakish stat line potential that we've ever seen in the NBA. And if there's going to be a player in today's NBA that ends up getting banned from fantasy leagues at some point down the line, it's Wemby. If Wemby comes out and plays 80 games and blocks all those shots and gets all those steals and hits all those threes and averages a double-double with 5 assists, there will be dudes in fantasy leagues like, we're not playing with Wemby next year. It's not fair. It just is what it is. I mean, he's too good. He's almost too good, but can he stay healthy? Is San Antonio going to fully unleash him? You know, this is why we play the games. But on paper, man, what a freak. What a freak.
I have Wemby at 5. He has Wemby at 10. Just if you're kind of catching us here, I have Jokic at 7. He has Jokic at 5. I'm still kind of waiting on Luka. Catcher on a fastball. I'm waiting on Luka on Doc's list. But number 10 for me is Steph Curry, who Doc had at number 7. Okay, so I have him at 10. Steph Curry, career line. Doc, I mean, 25, 5, and 6. It's better than Kobe. He was 25, 5, and 5. Barely better than Kobe. 0.3 blocks, 1.5 steals. That's better than Kobe by 1/10 of a steal. And 4 threes per game for his career. Okay. Obviously, the all-time leader in threes made. We know this. But that is and Doc talked about the percentages that I don't care about, but they do matter. Like, what a stat line from Steph Curry. So he's top 10 in reality for me, top 10 in fantasy for me as well. And we still get to watch this cat. That's pretty cool. So Wemby, Luka, Jokic, Curry, 4 current players are in my top 10. Let's see, it's Wemby and Curry and Jokic, 3 current players in Doc's top 10. So let's move on to number 11. Doc, who you got?
Well, we're there. Luka Doncic.
Boom.
And he's going up higher after this season. Dude, everything I see on my computer and my TV right now is about Luka's in shape. Like, literally, it's like I'm being bombarded from 3 different places. And, you know, I look up a stat page. All I see is Luka Doncic. My body looks better. He's been in Croatia, in Siberia, just in the freaking lab getting built. He's going to unload a can of Will Pass on this league this year. I can't wait. Dude, I hope I don't get the number 1 pick because I might be taking Luka. I don't know. But anyway, I've tried to draft Luka every year since his rookie season. I was super fired up about him coming into the league, more so than most people. I was devastated when he was traded for Trae Young from Atlanta because he was going to be in Atlanta. I could buy season tickets and go watch Luka play every night. But no, he got traded 30 seconds after they drafted him. And then I was shocked when he got traded for Anthony Davis. Like, Rick, you know how when Andre informed you that Luka was on the cover of Men's Health, you're like, somebody's playing a joke on me. Is this April 1st? And that's how I felt when I saw the ticker after midnight at Johnny B's that Luka Doncic has been traded by the Dallas Mavericks. I just couldn't believe it. So Luka I love Luca. I should have had him higher on my list. Really, I thought if I put Luca and Wemby up where you put them, Rick, that you were just gonna blast me. Like, you can't have guys that have only been in the league for. Like, I thought I was gonna look. I thought you were just gonna destroy me. And well, not that you would. You'd be nice about it, but
I would never do that.
I just didn't feel like I could put them up as high as I wanted to, so I kind of laid back on it. But now I feel like I've got the green light. So who knows what'll happen in our draft tomorrow.
This is literally the most subjective. Dude, you can't really get subjective when you're ranking players in reality, right? It's not subjective. It's championships, it's total points, it's MVPs, it's all-stars, it's all NBAs, right? That's not objective. That's resume evaluation. This is the wild, wild west, okay? It's reliability, it's longevity versus prime. It's a million factors, and it's really the secret sauce of your boys, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I'm Rick Kamla. We are the Fantasy NBA today. Please, a reminder, guys, go to your app store and download the Sports Ethos app. If you want to stay up to beat on NFL news, Major League Baseball news, of course, NBA news, we got you. Blurbs, Pete Nance blurbs. We got it all going on for you out there. And also go to the website. We have a fantasy football draft guide right now that's the best in the business. We have the NFL covered at a very, very, very high level. I'm doing the college football stuff. I believe I'm the best on earth doing college football. So you're just not going to get coverage north of what we're doing right here. Go to sportsethos.com. $6 a month, 60% off right now. Sign it up. Number 11 for me, Doc, is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. Dude, this stat line is gross, okay? Kevin Durant for his career, 27, 7, and 4. Kind of LeBron-y, okay? 1.1 blocks, 1 steal, 2 threes per game. The percentages are magnificent. Not that I care, okay? I mean, we got to give it up to KD, bro. This stat line is ridiculous. He's got an epic PRA and really, really good fantasy gold. You know, I love the 1-1-1 guys, okay? He's the second. Wemby's a 1-1-1 guy. He's the second 1-1-1 guy on my list. I'm just looking here. LeBron's not a 1-1-1 guy. Luka's not. Jokic isn't. Nope, that's it. It's Durant and Wemby right now. So I will go with Kevin Durant at number 11. Who do you have at 12, bro?
Kevin Durant.
Are you serious?
Back to back
cool.
Durant. Yeah. I mean, you just summed it up. Then he's LeBron light. They're not very different. And Durant might be the most unstoppable jump shooter of all time. Like, I don't know that his shot is blockable. Like, nobody can get to it. And he's smooth and he's chill and he's cool and he's just rock solid, man. Like, even today, we're still treating KD the same way. Like, I'll take KD in the second round and roll. And he's just had an incredible career. And for a time there, he was far and above the number one fantasy player you wanted on your team. You are muted.
So Durant at 12 for Dr. A. Number 12 for me, Doc, and we get into the old guys here. We're gonna take it to 15 on this episode. My next 4 guys are all old players because they deserve depth too. And you got to use your imagination because the dumbasses running the NBA didn't start tracking blocks and steals until 1973-74. I mean, I've gone on so many tirades about it. It still pisses me off all these years later. Doc, number 12 for me is Jerry West.
I called it.
Dude. Okay, so I looked last night at West, and I mean, we know the greatness, right? But I was still like, I'm not going to cuss, but God dang, you know what I mean? Like 27, 6, and 7 for Jerry West. 27, 6, and 7. LeBron is 27, 7, and 7. West and LeBron have almost mirror image PRAs. Crazy, right? Okay. Did you know that? I bet you didn't. Jerry West. So Jerry West played his last year was the first year they tracked blocks and steals, Doc. 73-74 was West's last year, okay? In his last year at like 35, he averaged 0.7 blocks and 2.6 steals per game, all right? So you know that Jerry West was averaging 3 and 4 steals a game back in his heyday. You know that. Also, Jerry West was known, he was the first best shooter in the NBA. Then it was Bird, and now Curry's the best shooter of all time. But West, back in his day, was the best shooter of the 1960s, okay? So, Doc, you know that he would have hit threes. All right, so that's why I give him the nod over the next 3 guys I'm about to talk about in terms of, the older GOATs. But Jerry West is number 12 for me, bro.
I like it. You know who I originally had at number 12, and then I moved him down? Shawn Marion. I was getting hung up in like best fantasy seasons ever. And Shawn Marion went on like a 3-run tear where he was just a baller. But then I was like, I can't put Shawn Marion on a list above, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and David Rodgers, like the guys that we're talking about. So anyway, I changed it up, but he was there for a minute. Number 12 on my, or I'm at 13 now, right? Sorry. 13 on my current list is Magic Johnson. I know you said you dropped him way down. I'm curious to see how far you dropped him down. Legendary Magic Johnson, averaged 27 and 11 for his career with 2 steals, which is something important, I think. Great free throw shooter, great field goal percentage. He was a point guard that could play center. He famously played center to win them a championship against Celtics. Magic was gone, mostly gone by the time I really got into fantasy. Like, I think I was playing the year that he came out in 91 and announced that he had AIDS. So he was going out right as I was coming in, so I missed it. But he's Magic Johnson, and I'm not gonna hem-haw too much about whether he belongs on this list or not. Muted.
I've got him a little ways down the list. Again, career line, okay? Jerry West, every game he played, 27, 6, and 7. Magic Johnson does not have a PRA like that. Magic's PRA was really good. It was 19, 7, and 11, which is 37, and West is up here at 40. Okay, so it's more goodies. It's just more goodies. Bob Pettit, Doc, is 13. I know I'm crazy. Nobody knows who the hell he is. Nobody even knows what position, what team he played for. He helped the Atlanta Hawks, the St. Louis Hawks, back in 1958, get their chip. The Atlanta Hawks right now have the little gold on the back of their jerseys, right? Like, what the hell have they ever won? 1958, St. Louis Hawks. They beat Bill Russell in the Boston Celtics. Russell got hurt. It's probably the reason that they won that, but they won it, all right? And Bob Pettit was the money man for that team. Bob Pettit is probably the best player of all time that literally never gets talked about. Never. He has the second best PRA of all time behind only Will Chamberlain. Number 2, Bob Pettit. He went 26, 16, and 3. Okay, and we don't have any other stats because the NBA were dumbasses back then. But he's got a PRA of freaking 45, and he averaged 16 rebounds per game and 26 points per game. I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm going to give you Bob Pettit. And pour one out for the old cats around here. Doc, who's number 14 for you?
I've got the Admiral, David Robinson. You already talked about him. I said I bumped him down further than that, but I'm slotting him in at 14, which is where he belongs. Like I said, nobody talks about Tim Duncan. Nobody talks about David Robinson. It's always Tim Duncan this and Tim Duncan that. David Robinson was a mini Akeem Olajuwon in the same era as Akeem. And man, the Spurs with Tim Duncan and David Robinson up front were just a scary team. So I'm going David Robinson.
I want to do something on Twitter. I'm going to put out my top 20 or 25. I think we're going to do 20 on this show. And dude, I'm going to get ratioed, as the kids say. There will like be more negative comments than likes or retweets, right? When you get ratioed, because I'm going to have Bob Pettit at 13. And like the younger audience, your list sucks. It's horrible. Who's Bob Pettit, right? All this kind of, I literally want it. I'm going to walk like James Harden runs from the smoke. I'm going to run into the smoke of hatred for my top players of all time.
They are not going to like Wemby or Luka that high either, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
They're not.
They're going to hate it.
Dude, I promise you, I'm going to put Cam's top 20 fantasy players of all time, right? And I'm probably going to bold fantasy, right? And there's going to be comments like, confusing it for like the actual top 10 list, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to put fantasy on it, but they're not going to read that. They're just going to assume I'm just ranking my top players because it's almost August. It's ranking season for us NBA heads. Anyway, back to work.
Well, and I like the way I like you used career averages. I think for the line, like that was your criteria. Is their career averages. I was looking more about how great a guy was as a fantasy player in his prime during the good years. And so that's two different things that we're looking at. And it makes sense. I mean, that your ranking of Magic Johnson and my ranking of Magic Johnson should be different if that's the case.
I'm also taking into account the peak of these guys' careers, but it's not the most important criteria point for me. Your career stat line is and again, I had to set some kind of consistent baseline where I can go back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the whole thing. I had to create some kind of a statistic baseline for me, and this was it. Number 14 for me, Doc, is Elgin Baylor, another super slept on guy, PRA of 44. Again, Wilt is up here at 57, Bob Pettit at 45, Elgin and Luka are next at 44 in league history. Elgin Baylor, 27, 13, and 4 was his career stat line for PRA. Of course, we don't know about blocks and steals, but I can tell you about blocks and steals, Doc. Elgin Baylor was the athletic precursor to Dr. J, who was the athletic precursor to Jordan, who was the athletic precursor to Kobe, who was that to LeBron. And now I don't know who LeBron's the athletic precursor to, but it's going to be somebody. All right. Elgin was that first athletic freak. And I'm not talking about Wilt and Russell. They were freaks, but I'm talking about like a wing freak, right? Like LeBron, like a forward, right? That's what Baylor was. And so there would have been a ton of blocks and steals going on Elgin Baylor's stat line. We don't have those numbers. As it is, a PRA of 44 gets him up to 14 on my list. Doc, who's 15 on your list?
I'm going with the aforementioned Tim Duncan. Some people call him the greatest power forward of all time. I'm not sure that I'm there.
Why wouldn't you be there? To me, it's not even debatable, dude. Who would you say is the better power forward all time than Tim Duncan?
I don't know. I would have to look into it. But I mean, there were guys that I think put up better numbers, but all the championships put Duncan in front, which I don't know, man. It's hard for me to get my head around like how. But doing these rankings all time when you have different eras and how much do you weigh the number of championships versus how well they played, like it's all very confusing and difficult for me to get through. But anyway, career stat line: 19 points, 11 boards, 3 assists, 2.2 blocks, 0.7 steals, no threes because they didn't shoot them back then. 50% from the field, only 69.6% from the free throw line. I'm going to have a problem with that because you got to shoot better than that if you want to be a good fantasy player. But, you know, the longevity of his career, it was from 98 to 2016, like 18 years. So I'm going Duncan.
Duncan at 15. 15 for me. Again, we keep it with the old-timey guys. Oscar Robertson, 26, 7, and 9 PRA which is actually a tick up from LeBron. He is at 42 with his PRA. LeBron's at 41. Jordan at 41. So a better PRA than Michael Jordan from Oscar Robertson. There would have been 3 balls there because he was a shooter. And there would have been a ton of steals there because he was a rocked up athlete, competitive as hell and grimy as hell. And he would have been out there stealing the ball. But as it is 26, 7, and 9, I got me some Oscar at number 15. Who is next on your list, Doc, at 16?
Next on my list at 16 is Chris Paul. I don't know how I feel about that because I've never drafted Chris Paul in fantasy. I am not sure why I felt the need to put him so high, but his stat line up until the last 2 years was pretty sick. Even with a down couple of years, he's at 17 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 4.5 rebounds. 2 steals, 1.5 threes, excellent percentages. And, for a long time, from his rookie year in 2005 until 2023, he was just like a rock star every single year. You could just count on what you were going to get for Chris Paul. There were missed games in there. He always had a tweaked ankle or a tweaked knee. I was always worried about it. Like I said, I didn't really draft him too much, but they don't call him the point god for nothing.
Chris Paul at 16. I can tell you, Doc ranked 25. I ranked 25. Chris Paul barely made my cut. Dwayne Wade missed my cut, like barely. I create a long list and then we trim it down, and some dudes make it, some dudes don't. Chris Paul did not make my list, but I'm not mad at him at 16. 16 for me is Larry Bird, who Doc had at number 6. So back in the day, I would have never ranked it. And by the way, he's ranked above my favorite player of all time, who I will get to in just a moment. I would have never ranked Bird over Magic back in the day. Would have never happened. I don't care about that stuff anymore. I'm a professional. I've got gray hair. I'm not fanboy anymore. And it is what it is. Larry Bird had a better career stat line than Magic Johnson. And I'm not even really sure it's that close. Larry Bird had a career PRA of 40. Okay, 24, 10, and 6. What a line, right? 24, 10, and 6. So that's 40. It's one of the best PRAs of all time. It's one off of LeBron and Jordan, to give you context on it. Magic Johnson's career PRA is 37. Okay, 19, 7, and 11 versus 24, 10, and 6. I'd rather have 24, 10, and 6. Love you, Magic. Again, it just feels weird saying anything Bird over Magic here, but I am. 0.8 blocks for Bird, and it was 0.4 blocks for Magic. 1.7 steals for Bird, 1.9 for Magic, and then Magic hit 0.4 threes, and Bird hit 0.7 threes. Okay, so we're nitpicking here, but that's what you do in rankings like this. Bird slightly statistically better than my boy Magic Johnson, so I got to go with Larry Bird at number 16. And it is what it is. I like Larry Bird. I've interviewed him a bunch of times, met him a bunch of times. Nice guy. Nice guy. He's very serious. There are guys that you meet that are serious and like Bird's a nice guy. He's just serious, right? You got to just kind of be professional and stick to business with Bird. It's not like, you're not busting chops or anything with Larry Bird. That ain't happening on his watch. Very serious guy, but a nice guy. Who's 17? So Doc, you had Bird at 6. I had Bird at 16. But who's 17 on your list as we whittle our way to number 20?
Yeah, no, like I said, I skipped most of the old guys. Like I don't have Jerry West. Like I don't have the old heads. I thought about Oscar Robertson. I thought about Bill Russell. I thought about Jerry West. I thought about Bob Pettit, your boy. I thought about Elgin Baylor. Thought about Pistol Pete Maravich.
Dude, I want a Bob Pettit St. Louis Hawks jersey, dude. I want to rock a Bob Pettit St. Louis Hawks. Do they have those?
Dude,
I'd probably be a $300 hardwood classic. I'd spend $300 on a jersey, dude.
I used to have a Pistol Pete Marinovich jersey that was old school and so sweet. It was a Hawks jersey.
Hold on, Marinovich?
Did I say Marinovich? Like Todd Marinovich?
Yeah, like
Maravich.
Todd Marinovich. You remember? Todd Marinovich? He smoked himself out of the NFL.
Pistol Pete Marinovich. Wow.
Oh, I'm not even going to put the marijuana in there and disparage the man's name. He's up in heaven right now.
But I used to have a Maravich jersey, and I don't know where it went. And
oh my God,
disturbing.
Todd
and he's not on my
Marinovich made the show. I can't believe it, dude.
What pick am I on? 18. I'm gonna go with the
17. You're on 17 here.
17. I'm gonna go with the Minnesota years of Kevin Garnett. I don't want any Boston or the last year in Minnesota for Kevin Garnett. But I like the Kevin Garnett that played for Minnesota straight out of high school. And he was basically one of the most feared dudes, one of the most intense players in the NBA. Every year was 22, 23, 24 points. Every year was 10 rebounds, 11 rebounds, 14 rebounds. Every year was approaching 2 blocks. Every year was approaching 1.5, 2 steals. And he could shoot threes when he needed to. And not a bad free throw shooter, an excellent field goal percentage. So I'm going the Minnesota years, KG, not the end of his career, KG.
Not mad at you. KG next. Magic Johnson's next for me, Doc. It was a real Magic versus Bird thing. I mean, here we are all these years later. It's not even a reality conversation. It's a fantasy conversation. It's still Magic and Bird button heads. It's just sometimes these guys stay attached at the hip. I have a feeling Trae Young and Luka Doncic are going to be like that. Magic Johnson, who we've talked a lot about, and I kind of just went through his stat line when I was comparing him to Bird and that kind of stuff. So I will not belabor the point here. He is. I will give you one stat. He's still 4th all time in triple doubles. Russ at 203. I mean, this is amazing. Oscar's still 2nd in triple doubles. Shout out to Oscar Robertson, man. 181. Jokic is a 164. Jokic will pass Robertson this year and become number 2, and he'll be looking up only at Westbrook. Magic's a 138. LeBron's a 122. That's your top 5 for triple doubles in league history. Who is 18 on your board, Doc?
I've got Jimmy Harden at 18 on my list.
Wow.
And that's probably appropriate since he's such a better fantasy player than he is in real life, right? You know, Harden, from the time he got in the league and he was playing for Oklahoma City, was putting up just ridiculous stat lines across the board. I feel like outside of his rookie season, that has been happening his whole career, and like gaudy fantasy numbers from this guy. So he averaged 9 and 12 his first 2 years in the league, points wise. But then after that, it's been bulky. 3 years in a row at 30 plus. Career average is 24 points, 5.5 boards, 7.2 assists, 1.5 steals, almost 3 threes a game. Great free throw shooter, solid from the field. And I've got Jimmy Harden at 18.
You just mentioned it. Career PRA of 36 and Birds at 40, to give you an idea. Yeah, Harden belongs in these conversations right about now. Next up for me, Doc, is Russell Westbrook. Russ started in my top 10, and I just was going through it, and I'm like, how do I take Russ over Bob Pettit? How do I do that? Bob Pettit has the 2nd best PRA in league history. Russ doesn't have that. Russ has a career PRA of 21, 7, and 8, which is 36. Oh, the same exact total PRA for his career is James Harden. although split up into different numbers. But Doc, this is one of those things where, like, I love the PRA. The rest of Russ's stat line doesn't really do it for me. But you know what? Gosh dang it. This guy averaged a triple-double 4 out of 5 seasons. And like I said, your career stat line is my number one thing here. But then there's other stuff that come. I mean, the guy averaged a triple-double for 4 out of 5 years. So he's got to be in my top 20, got to be well represented. He's at 18. I got Russell Westbrook. Who is next on your board at 19?
I have got Dirk Nowitzki. And I don't have his, I'm not prepared. I don't have his numbers pulled up here. But there was a time when Dirk was the man. And Dirk was reliable. He was dependable. He was consistent. You know, the first blurb, you know, I'm just going to go with this. The first blurb I ever wrote for Roto World. It was a Tuesday night. I wasn't being paid. And I wrote, Dirk Nowitzki had 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, a block, and 2 threes in Tuesday's win over Miami or whatever it was. And the next day, my boss at Roto World, when he was reviewing my work, was like, "Why'd you blurb Dirk Nowitzki?" And I'm like, "Because I thought that was an awesome stat line." He goes, "He does that every night. There was no news there. That's what he does." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, then I won't blurb solid Dirk lines anymore." So that just sort of sums it up. I mean, he had incredible games, but it was just sort of what he did every night. He was ahead of his time, I think.
I don't like that. You were telling me the ESPN guys were like, "You can't say Zion's going to get shut down. There's nothing to document that." Screw you, buddy. It's my opinion. You're paying me for my opinion and my fantasy prognostication. I'm telling you that Zion is never. I mean, like, that just gets me triggered. It's like and it wasn't even told to me. It was told to you. You don't. First of all, you don't talk to a goat like that. You don't.
Dude, it was my first shift it's the first blurb I ever wrote for Roto World.
Thumbs. No. I'm talking about the Zion thing where you said the guy at ESPN's like, "You got to take that out. You can't say that." Why can't I say that? Our business is prediction, projection, prognostication, you idiot. And then on the Dirk thing, I don't agree with that either. So like when Dirk would have 18 and 11 with 2 threes and no D, you don't blurb on that. But when Dirk didn't have blocks and steals every game. That's just not even right by that guy. That's not right.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the exact stat line was, but it was something along the lines. He was training me that we don't. If a guy does what he does, you don't need to blurb it. That's all I'm saying. And what Dirk does is pretty badass.
Okay, so here's my take on that. The best player from that game needs a blurb. Do you agree with that? The best player from that game needs a blurb, even if he does it all the time. Like, how could you're looking through and you're at the Dallas-Cleveland game and you're where's the Dirk news here? Some people don't read box scores. They go to blurbs on your app, Sports Ethos, okay? This is what we're talking about. Go to your app store, download the Sports Ethos app. We've got them all there on your little phone, all these blurbs, the stuff we're talking about right now. And I don't know what Andre and Brew are telling our blurbers, dude. And so I don't want to step on toes here, but I feel like the best player in a game deserves a blurb, even if that's what that cat does. Do you agree?
And I think in this era, like, and that's the thing. Like, I was being trained by a person who did NFL, baseball, and basketball all at the same time by himself. So he had to pick and choose. He had to pick his battles for where he was going to spend his time writing blurbs.
Gotcha.
Once I was in charge of the NBA by myself, I went blurb crazy. And I was like, LeBron is getting a blurb every game because people want to read about LeBron. Kobe's getting a blurb every game. Dirk's getting a blurb every game. All the superstars are getting blurbs every game. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
You guys, his blurbs helped me do my job on the fantasy show on NBA TV back in the day. My introduction to many of you. His blurbs helped me do my job. They literally were content for me on the air, and that's why Doc hit it off. He'd call up the show, and a love fest was had. Number 19 for Doc is Dirk. Number 19 for me is Shaquille O'Neal. So, Doc, I've got Shaq at 19. Career stat line, 24, 11, and 2, 2.3 blocks, 0.6 steals, and, longevity. And obviously that includes the end of his career when he wasn't really doing much. But the Diesel Daddy, 24, 11, and 2, 2.3 blocks. He is number 19 for me. So what we're going to do here, Doc, we're going to each give our number 20 with a little bit of an explanation. And then we're just going to go 21 through 25 and just like rapid fire, right? And not go one by one, but just so we can complete the whole 25. And then Wednesday, we're going to do a draft of these great players. So we did the ranking, and now we're going to do the draft coming up in that show. Andre, help me out. Will that show be Thursday or airing Wednesday or airing Thursday? I believe it's the Wednesday joint. But please keep me honest on that. So Shaq's number 19 for me, Doc. Who's number 20 for you? We're going to do it on Wednesday. And we're going to have the all-time fantasy basketball draft on Wednesday live for you guys at 11 a.m. Eastern. And we're psyched about it. We hope you join us.
I've got Tracy McGrady, prime Tracy McGrady at number 20. I don't have him pulled up. I'm sleeping on my job over here.
I love T-Mac, dude. We all love T-Mac.
He was so good. Man. He was so good in his prime, man. He was, and people love Tracy McGrady. I think we forget how much people love Tracy McGrady when he was doing his thing. Here we go. I got his stats now. Maybe if the hamster gets on the wheel. Career stats, only 20 points, man. You talk about a rough end to his career. That the end of his career was brutal. But from 2000 to 2008, it was all T-Mac all the time. 24 to 30 points a game. He scored 8, Reggie Miller had the 9 points in 8 seconds. So T-Mac did the same thing. Doesn't get talked about as much. Shot a bunch of threes. And he was just one of those smooth dudes, man. Like he was so good and so cool and so fun. His average stat lines were like 25, 6, and 6 with over a steal. And a lot of times he blocked a shot a game. And he hit threes as well. So T-Mac was a beast for like 8 years. You're muted again.
Number 20 for me is Allen Iverson. Doc, do you have Kobe at 9? Kobe's coming up for me, but not quite yet. I don't want any of you to think that I've got like some opinion about Kobe. Like I don't have like that. It's all stats. But I have Iverson at 20, Doc. And I'll tell you right now, from Shaq on to 25, dude, it was just flipping coins, right? Like you said, I do it a week from now. It may adjust a little bit. They're all household names coming up. But I got Iverson at 20. I loved Iverson as a fantasy player because the high point total, his career line is 27, 4, and 6. All right. That's better than Kobe by 2. He has a career PRA of 37. That's really good. Okay. That's getting up close to the really, really elite level. 2.2 steals per game, Doc. He was a steal king, 1.2 3 balls. I love that stat line. 27, 4, and 6, 2.2 steals, 1.2 threes. Sign me up. AI number 20 for me. So let's go rapid fire here, Doc. Give me 21 through 25, and I'll write it down. And if you want to give like a stat or a tidbit, or you can just rank, you can just like list it. But I'm ready for your 21 through 25.
Well, ironically, I have Iverson at 21.
Wow.
And then 22 through 25, I've just put in my favorite fantasy sleepers / favorite fantasy players of all time. And unfortunately, Anthony Randolph did not make this list, but he was in consideration for it. So at 21, I go Iverson, and then these are my 4 of my favorite fantasy players of all time. And it may just have been one great season or 3 great seasons, but it was the year I picked these guys as sleepers and they went off. Eddie Jones of the Lakers was a steals king back in the day. He was the original. Who's our guy on the Hawks? Who's my boy? 3 steals a game.
Dyson Daniels.
He was the original Dyson Daniels. So Eddie Jones, always a favorite of mine. I would rock a Eddie Jones jersey any day of the week. Sean Marion for about 5 years with that funky shot was putting up fantasy gold all the way across the board. Probably the most underrated fantasy player of all time is Sean Marion, I would say.
Dude, he was. I would agree. He was the number 1 overall pick in drafts back in the mid 2000s. He was the guy you had to have for like a 3-year window.
Gerald Wallace, possibly the most underrated fantasy player of all time. He was like Eddie Jones, man. Those guys were steals, they were blocks, they were threes. They were just doing all the stuff without scoring a ton of points that kind of blew your mind. These are not PRA guys, obviously. Marion is kind of. And then the other one is just one of my all-time favorite players and dudes is Chris Webber. In Webber's prime, I loved having him on my fantasy team. He was a center who could get you triple doubles and block shots and steal the ball. He could do everything. So Eddie Jones, Sean Marion, Gerald Wallace, and Chris Webber go in my personal fantasy Hall of Fame. Like, those are my boys.
I love that, dude. I like that you got creative with that. I didn't. I still kind of just stuck with the stats all the way to 25. I love that list. Iverson 21, Eddie Jones 22, Marion 23, Gerald Wallace 24, Webber 25. I just want to give you the year real quick. We have to harken back to 2005, 2006. Gerald Wallace's second year in Charlotte after 3 years in Sacramento. He went 15, 7, and 2 with 2.5 steals and 2.1 blocks, becoming, I believe, only the 3rd player to average 2 and 2 in a season. That list may have a 4th guy. It's Hakeem, it's David, it's Gerald, and I don't believe another human has gone 2 blocks and 2 steals in an NBA season, although Andre may have a correction on that.
Has Wemby not done that yet?
Good question.
He might be at like 1.9 steals or something.
I put Wemby in Basketball Reference notes, Wemba, to get him to pull up. Where is our guy Wemby? Has not done it. Career high 1.2 steals. Like, he hasn't even come close. Yeah. Last year 3.8 and 1.1. I don't know if Wemby's going to get up. Dude, I mean, if he was at 1.6, it'd be like, yeah, there's a 2 steal season in there. He's at 1 and 1.1. I don't know if a steal season, if a 2 steal season is in there from Wemby. All right. So here is my 21 through 25. 21 is Rick Barry. Doc, we got to give it to Rick Barry. We got to give it to these GOATs, man. Rick Barry, stat line, 25, 7, and 5. Better than Kobe. There's a reason why I haven't said Kobe's name. And I had Kobe higher, and I just kept dropping him because I kept comparing him to these other lines. And I'm like, Kobe, I love you. Not mad at you. This guy's going to help me win in fantasy more than you are. And that's the thought process I had. Rick Barry's line, 25, 7, and 5. My God. half a block, 2 steals per game, and 0.6 threes. He was still playing right at the beginning of the three-point line in the NBA. So he would have had many, many 3 balls. So if you use your imagination, like the line's even bit, it's probably like a Kevin Durant stat line from Rick Barry right now. He's 21 for me. Kevin Garnett is 22. He would be higher, but the lame seasons at the end of his career when he was just collecting money bring his stats down. That matters to me. I'm not mad at him. It just is what it is. The overall stat line, 18, 10, and 4, 1.4 blocks, 1.3 steals. That's not prime KG. Prime KG was 20, 10, and 5 with all the blocks and steals that Doc was talking about. Tim Duncan's number 23 for me, 19, 11, and 3 PRA, 2.2 blocks, 0.7 steals. Charles Barkley. I can't say he's underrated, but dude, I don't know if people really understand, Doc, how great he was of a fantasy player. And again, this is his career stat line. This was including the end of his career when he was a little bit doughy and all that kind of stuff. 22, 12, and 4 for his career. Killer PRA. That's a 38 PRA against just off the big boys. 0.8 blocks, 1.5 steals, 0.5 threes. Okay. Barkley would be easily a top 5 pick in fantasy ball in his prime right now. The 3-ball game would be expanded and all this kind of stuff. I think he'd be a 1-1-1 guy because, again, that's his career line. That's not his prime. And then 25, dude, I got Kobe. 25, 5, and 5. Here's the problem with Kobe. The fantasy gold is not great. And this is why I really didn't go after Kobe back in the day. I let other people draft Kobe. I mean, if it was like the spot to take Kobe, I took Kobe. But I didn't reach up. I didn't have to have him. 25, I would have rather had Marion back in that day, Doc, like 05, 06, 07, 7 seconds or left, D'Antoni, stop it. Much rather have Marion than Kobe. Kobe, 25, 5, and 5, half a block, 1.4 steals, 1.4 threes. And when I looked at that, Doc, I was like, that's it? Kobe? As great of a defensive player he was, it's 1.4 steals? Jordan is 2+. 1.4. That was probably the most disappointing number in all of the research I did. Kobe was at 1.4 steals. I would have bet a lot of money that's way higher than that. And only 1.4 threes from Kobe. So the fantasy gold's kind of lame, and that's why I have Kobe at 25.
Don't you have visions of Kobe stealing the ball and driving down the court and dunking it like over and over and over and over? Yeah, I mean, I would have guessed he was at least 2 steals.
Now, I was like, 1.4 steals? Kobe, I'm going to have to downgrade you, bro. And I did, but I still love him. All right, Andre did a cool thing because I was wondering this. He merged like my vote, your vote to get the top 10 guys. All right, so let's bring that to the people here. Wilt Chamberlain is number 1. We both had him number 1. Michael Jordan is number 2. Doc had him at 2. I had him at 3. LeBron James is number 3. Doc had him at 4. I have him at 2. Hakeem Olajuwon, that's so cool that Hakeem is number 4. I love that, Doc. Way to stuff the ballot box on that one. You had him at 3. You had him at 3. I had him at 8. So Hakeem is number 4. Kareem is number 5. I had him at 4. You had him at 8. This list is so dope, dude. Nikola Jokic is next at number 6. You had him at 5. I have him at 7. Wemby is number 7. Dude, this list is just the bomb, dude. I had him at 5. You had him at 10. Luka is next. All right. It goes Jokic, Wemby, Luka. That's cool, man. Luka's at 8. I had Luka at 6. You had Luka at 11. Steph Curry is next at number 9. I had him at 10. You had him at 7. And then Larry Legend, Doc, rounds out the top 10. You had him at 6. I had him at 16. That's the good stuff right there, dude. That's a cool list. Thank you, Andre, for that.
Cool. That is cool.
I think it's awesome that you and I both were like Jokic, Wemby, Luka. We got to recognize, right, what's happening right now and give these guys their proper due. Because longevity is big for me, Doc, but longevity doesn't have to be a primary thing in this conversation. You said you went kind of by prime of career, and that's why you have guys like Marion and Weber and T-Mac, right? Because those guys' primes were amazing. wasn't, the body of work wasn't as sustainable as some of these other guys. But anyway, that's all I got, dude. Andre,
Well,
thank
the
you for that list, man. That's cool.
interesting thing about this is you and I had zero discussion about it. Like, we just showed up. Like, no one said, here, use this criteria, just come up with a list. And there were things where we were similar on and things that we were different on. Had I known you were going to be so cool with having Wemby and Luka ranked high, I probably would have ranked them even higher, and then they'd be too high on the list. So I like the way our combined top 10 looks. Like, that looks like a good list. I dig it.
I do too. I want to write this down when we're done here. I want to publish this somehow, Instagram, Twitter, that's good content right there. That needs to be put up for the masses. But look, we appreciate all you guys watching this show right here. Again, go to your app store, download the Sports Ethos app. It's free. We got blurbs on blurbs on blurbs, MLB, NFL, and NBA. Obviously, the NFL draft guide is available for you at sportsethos.com. So is all of our other writing. The fantasy football draft guide right now is $6 a month and 60% off. Why would you not do that? And we love you guys. So coming up on Wednesday, all right, Doc and I are going to draft Yahoo style, which is point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, utility. 10 guys, and we're going to fill those spots with these guys, with David Robinson, with Wemby, with Luka, and I can't wait to see how those teams look, okay? That episode is hitting Wednesday at 11 a.m. Love you all. We will see you then. Big shout out to Andre Lemouche. Big shout out to my guy, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I'm Rick Kamla. Peace and love for now, y'all.